why people can't manifest. I have watched a lot of videos and a lot of people are sharing these amazing ideas. However, it's almost as if they're missing this fundamental thing. And I get it, because then they want to sell a program and they want people to join their program to then actually learn how to manifest. However, I come from a very different space. If someone truly believes in manifesting, then they are going to share everything, knowing that they will manifest anyway. You don't need to hide anything. You don't need to hide key essential parts of your teachings or your awareness or your wisdom or any of those things to manifest, because you can manifest, right? You believe in the universe, you believe in manifestation, therefore it does not matter if you give everything away, you're still going to manifest. And this is where I struggle with a lot of manifestation that's out there, a lot of wisdom that's out there, because it comes with some limitations. And this is one of those limitations, that there is this key piece of information that is missing, and that's what I wanted to share. And I wrote this out this morning, so I'm going to read it. It's not long, but if you can stick with me through to the end, it will all make sense. So let me read this for you. Now I'm going to put my glasses on. Okay, so I'm just going to read what I wrote. This video is about the functional part. If you don't get this, no amount of wish-fulfilled thinking, and you know what I'm talking about, right? Neville Goddard process of wish-fulfilled. No amount of wish-fulfilled thinking is going to work. No amount of law of attraction visualizing is going to work if you miss this fundamental part. When you are visualizing what you want and you're in the flow in your mind of visualizing, and then this feeling pops up, maybe you get what I'm talking about, right? You're visualizing what you want. You're visualizing the house, you're visualizing the car, you're visualizing the person, you're visualizing the money. And as you're lying there, if you're doing this while you're meditating, or you're sitting, if you're doing this while you're staring out into the abyss, and a feeling pops up. That feeling, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a tug, or it's like an ache, or a cringe, or a moment. This feeling comes up, and it's not a nice feeling. And yes, I do use the term good, bad, negative, positive. Very normal human. I don't follow or ascribe to this. A feeling isn't negative. It's just a feeling. It is just a feeling. It is just a sensation. However, we also live in this human body with very human terms that make things make sense. And using the word negative and bad, or positive and good, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very direct. It's very clear. So I do use those terms. We're talking about a feeling that comes up, and it can be a feeling in your leg. It could be a feeling in your stomach. It could be a feeling in your arm. It could be a feeling in your heart. It could be a feeling in your chest. It could be a feeling in your eyeball. But it is a feeling that is not nice. It is unpleasant. It is not something that you want. That's the feeling that we're talking about. All right, let's keep going. When you're visualizing what you want and you're in the flow in your mind of visualizing, and then this feeling pops up and you ignore the feeling and you keep visualizing. You know what I'm talking about? You know the feeling, it's not a good one, and you ignore it, because that, I'm going to keep taking these off. It's really hard for me to look at the camera with these on. So you know what I'm talking about, right? All the manifestation stuff says when you feel the feeling, focus on your thoughts, focus on your visualizing, ignore the feeling, just keep on going, keep focusing on your thoughts, focusing on this. It's this feeling that or it says focus on your breath, right? Focus on your breath and let the feeling go. It's this feeling that is the problem. This is why you can't manifest. But let me keep reading because it gets better. Then, once you are done with your meditation or your visualizing, you get up and go about your day thinking positively, focusing on what you want in your mind. That moment you ignore the feeling is the problem. That's the problem. That feeling is the indicator for where you are on your journey. If the feeling was light and open and lovely and good, then you are all good to go. If it feels great, do nothing. You're on path. However, if that feeling was bad, unpleasant, distracting, dark, then you have a problem. No, you have a problem. Let me swap sides. And the complication here is that ignoring the feeling. Hang on a minute. I can't read my writing. I read it so fast this morning. I can't. Here we go. Now I know what it says. The complication here is that ignoring the feeling does work for some people, and they manifest regardless of how they feel. But for some of us, we cannot ignore the feeling. We get to transcend it. Happy days. Doesn't that sound fantastic? Let's transcend our feelings, but the journey through to transcending your feelings sucks ass. Just so you know. Not everyone is here to deal with their stuff. And I just want to reiterate that. Not everyone is here to deal with their stuff. I have family members that have passed on that wouldn't even know they had stuff, because not everybody is here to deal with their stuff. So remember that. Let me keep reading. Some people get to carry their stuff and live an incredible life without really getting in the way. Their stuff doesn't get in the way. It doesn't matter. It's a blip on the radar. It's like a small satchel pack. I love this description. It's like a small satchel pack on their back. And then they teach manifesting to those of us who have a train with 100 carriages filled with darkness that we need to offload before we get to manifest the life of our dreams. Do you know? I was writing this morning going, far out, man. Do you know what I'm talking about? And there are people out there teaching manifestation, beautiful human beings. This is not saying anything bad about who they are as people. They're beautiful human beings and they are doing amazing work in manifesting. What I am trying to help you understand is that some people have come to this earth and they are walking around with a satchel on their back of stuff, and they breathe and they connect and they forgive and they move instantly into love and kindness. And they may have had some trauma happen to them when they were a teenager or when they're in their 20s. And not saying it wasn't bad trauma, it still could have been bad trauma. However, if they were raised with a parent, just one human being who loved them, who was their safe space, who helped them feel like they were worthy, if they were raised knowing just a little bit that they were worthy of existing, if they were raised knowing that they were worthy of being loved, if they were raised knowing that their spot on this planet, their blip on this earth was worthwhile, then their ability to manifest and clear their trauma and clear their past is going to be vastly different to those of us who were born into this existence thinking that we're not worth shit. It's a very big difference. It's a very different journey. It is a massively different journey. And if you're going to follow manifestation techniques, you need to make sure that the person that is teaching you those manifestation techniques has had a little bit of the experience that you have gone through. If you listen to someone and they're talking about the relationship with their mum and how beautiful their mum is and how wonderful their mum is and how they had such a beautiful relationship with their mum, but then they didn't have a good relationship with their dad. Their dad was a bit abusive, or their dad was a lot abusive. Not to undermine the abuse. Please do not take anything I say out of context. It is not undermining the abuse. I'm not focusing on the abuse here. I am focusing on the fact that they had someone in their life through the abuse that helped them feel safe, that helped them feel love, that helped them feel worthy of being in this world. That makes a massive difference to your manifestation. It means that when it comes time for you to clear out your trauma and you think about a time when you felt love, when you felt safe, when you felt worthy, you have something in your being that gives you that ability. You have a memory that you can call on that goes, in that moment I felt love. In that moment I felt worthy. In that moment I felt safe. But what about those of us that don't have those memories? What about those of us that from the day we were born into trauma and we were raised to believe that we weren't worthy, that we didn't get love? I have zero memory of my mother ever telling me that she loved me. Zero memory. You can have massive physical trauma and it will cause horrendous packages and blockages and sabotages that you need to clear out, or you can have massive amounts of emotional trauma. And the emotional trauma is somewhat harder because you can't see it. You can't see that hand coming towards you. And also, I got hit a lot as a kid. I got a lot of physical abuse as a kid. My dad broke the hairbrush on me because he hit me so hard with the hairbrush when I was about 7 or 8. So I am not devoid of physical trauma, but my emotional trauma started when the day I was born. And it is not the same. So when you are in meditation and you are breathing and you're trying to focus on your manifestation, you're trying to focus on your connection, you're trying to focus on your awareness, but you have 100 train carriages of crap behind you, it doesn't work. And or whatever. Let me keep reading. Some of us came to this earth with a desire to offload everything so we can expand into oneness completely in this lifetime. Doesn't that sound amazing? Expand into oneness completely in this lifetime. That's what I came here for. If that is you, then your journey is not going to be the same as the masses, and following manifesting techniques designed for the masses are not going to help. They're not. They'll help a little bit. For sure, they'll help a little bit. Oh, that's all I wrote. Look at that. That's all I wrote. They will for sure help a little bit. So they will help from the perspective of finding new tools or creating new tools. They will help from the perspective of being able to find words or at least listen to the words of the meditations. And then what I do is I can sometimes use these manifesting meditations as like a foundation. And then I, in my mind, am speaking over the top of that to create the clearing and the more expansive, more awareness. I do that while using these meditations as a foundation, which is why I've decided to create my own meditations, because they're just missing, and I want to be able to go into the depth of the darkness and go into the depth of the void and go into the depth of the oneness and not have to have my mind active at the same time, because I am taking myself there. So yeah, I am creating my own meditations at some point for myself. Yay! Your journey is not going to be the same as someone who is carrying a satchel if you are carrying 100 carriages behind you. They're not the same journey. They're completely different. So trying to follow the path of someone that is carrying a satchel on their back when you have 100 train carriages behind you, it's not going to work. It's not going to expand you to the volume of expansiveness that you need to get past your stuff. It's also not going to help you put down, disconnect all of those train carriages. So my experience, this has been my experience, is that I have had to go and face every single carriage, and I've had to go and look at it, and then I've had to sort through it and release it, forgive it, clear it, and then disconnect one, and then disconnect another, and go through this process. And it has been a process for me of going through all of these carriages and going through all of my stuff, because my journey has not been the same as everyone else. I have not been able to simply sit in forgiveness and have everything be forgiven. I have had to specifically go to different people and do different forgiveness techniques on each individual person, on each individual experience. It hasn't been as simple as me going, I forgive all of this that happened to me, and then have it all fall off. That didn't work for me. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Essentially, what I wanted to share was that manifesting for you The reason why maybe you can't manifest is because you are ignoring the feelings that are the indicator to tell you that you have stuff you need to clear. You have stuff that you need to forgive or release or experience when you sit in meditation and your mind is completely clear and your mind is completely still and your heart is completely open and you can feel the flow. That is when the work is done. If you feel anything other than that, then you still have work to do. And that feeling coming up is the indicator that you still have work to do. That's all I wanted to say. If you would like some help, I am here. I have 2 ways to work with me. One is free. You can go to my website, lovecreatesfreedom.com, and join the free group where I am creating a group of beings who have 100 carriages behind them or have been working through their 100 carriages, but nothing else is happening to shift that feeling when you are alone in silence with yourself. So if that is you, go to lovecreatesfreedom.com and click on the free group and send me a message. Everything is about sending me a message, and then we will connect and I will connect you in. If you want one-on-one, there is that option as well. You can click on the one-on-one. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about why your meditations aren't working for you, you can click on this video that's just popped up. Bye for now.